Zach, it's hey. Today we're reacting to last photos with disturbing backstories. I'm scared. Chatter, y'all scared? Chatters? Let's go. I'm gonna turn it up. What is this? I'm afraid. Are we playing a puppet combo game?
Today's video is sponsored by Raycon.
Let's go.
On May 12th, 2022, the badly decomposed remains of a still unidentified woman were discovered in a wooded area in Wadesboro, North Carolina, just west of a National Guard armory. The deceased, a scantily clad white female estimated to have been between 20 and 40 years of age, couldn't be linked to any missing persons reports in the area. In lieu of her real name, whatever that may be, she was given the moniker Anson County Jane Doe. She was estimated to have perished at some point in 2021. Unusually, at the time of her demise, the only clothing that the woman was wearing was a black Secret Treasures bra and a pair of leggings. Her cause of death has never been officially announced. While attempting to identify the woman, the most compelling and easily the most disturbing lead the authorities came upon were several images captured by a trail cam close to where the doe's remains were found. The cam had been installed in a hunting zone near the armory to monitor a deer feeder. But instead of deer, it captured these.
Oh dear. What the hell?
Images of an unknown woman wearing the same clothes as found on the doe's body, stumbling through the woodland on August 22nd, 2021.
That's a fire stick.
She was first recorded that night at 1:33 AM, entering the frame on the right. In the next image, captured a second later as the clock struck 1:34, she isn't visible at all, suggesting that she was running at the time.
Ugh! Oh my gosh, that just gave me chills.
She later appeared again at 4:30 and 4:31 AM, this time hobbling in the opposite direction and using a large stick to support herself.
What?
This woman is strongly believed to be the Anson County Jane Doe. And though they didn't know why this lone female was wandering through the dense forest in the middle of the night, detectives now at least had a face to work with.
Was she on drugs?
Forensic investigators analysed the images, but weren't able to draw many conclusions. It appeared as if the woman's leggings were wet above her knees, as was the lower half of her stick. That suggested that she had crossed a body of water, likely Culpeper Creek. She had perhaps slipped and hurt herself while doing so, hence the walking stick. Some theorize that she was suffering from a mental breakdown, but others have suggested an even darker possibility, that she was being held somewhere remote against her will, and with no time to get dressed, she had seized an opportunity to escape.
Ooh.
Proponents of that theory believe that she ultimately met her end at the hands of her captor, who had somehow managed to track her down. Whatever did become of this woman, it's truly chilling to look over these images and imagine what her final hours must have been like.
Yeah.
Wandering alone through the woods, lost in unending blackness. In February 2022, 6 months after the trail cam footage was captured, and a few months before the doe's remains were discovered, rabbit hunters stumbled upon a backpack containing an unspecified sum of cash close to the armory. They took the cash and abandoned the backpack in the forest. When news of the doe's discovery spread, they brought the existence of the backpack to the authorities' attention. Unfortunately, to this day, that backpack hasn't been found. Despite providing relatively clear images of the doe's face, the trail cam footage didn't result in any new leads. At least, none that the authorities have publicly announced. And that's the thing. Local law enforcement have remained unusually tight-lipped about this whole case, not releasing a description of the woman's remains, her cause of death, the colour of her hair, or even a description of the missing backpack. No major news outlets have reported on the story either, and it feels to many as if little's being done to solve this case. As one anonymous local resident put it, "I sure hope I never go missing in Anson County." In conjunction with these creepy images, it's that silence that's fueled so much online interest in this story. With so many questions, and so few answers, the doe's identity has become a huge topic of discussion here on YouTube, over on Reddit, and, perhaps most importantly, on Facebook.
Uh-huh.
Attempt to Locate is a Facebook group with 123,000 followers. A place for users to share photos related to UIDs, or unidentified decedents, and attempt to link them to the case files of missing persons. And while discussing these images of Anson County Jane Doe, several users brought up this woman.
That looks
Amber
like
Ray
her.
Johnston, a 36-year-old mother from Mojave County, Arizona, one who's been missing since August 2021. To quote her page on missingpersonscenter.org, Amber was last seen in Bullhead City in August 2021.
I feel like that's her.
She left all her personal belongings at her apartment. Her boyfriend left around that same time and went to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and Amber was supposed to take a bus to Myrtle Beach on August 16th and meet him there. In her last Facebook post on August 19th, she streamed live from a bus before getting off at Winston-Salem. She hasn't been heard from since, and it's not clear whether she arrived in Myrtle Beach or not.
The fuck?
Curiously,
She was taking a bus all the way across the goddamn country?
Amber's food stamp card was used by another woman after her disappearance. The woman, when contacted, said Amber's boyfriend had sold her the card. In the months prior to her disappearance, Amber had been using drugs and acting paranoid. Her case remains unsolved, and the circumstances are unclear.
Wow.
Amber Johnston bears an undeniable resemblance to the woman captured on the trail cam, and
I don't know. Like, look at the nose. See the nose? I don't know. It might just be the angle, but that's upsetting, y'all.
and the date of her last correspondence lines up perfectly with when the footage was recorded. This lead has since been brought to the authorities' attention, and it's yet to be confirmed whether Amber truly is the Doe or not. Given just how much attention this case has received as of late though, I'd wager that the local authorities will dedicate more resources to identifying her, and that she'll be given her name back in the near future. Until then, Anson County Jane remains one of the USA's 14,000 unidentified decedents.
That is disturbing.
I'll be sure to keep you all posted about any breakthroughs on my social media accounts.
Thank you, bro. Whew. Alright, well, we're starting off on a horrible note. Here we go.
This
Hi,
is the
little
last
guy.
known photo of Snahanshu Sharma, a smart and cheerful 8-year-old boy from Hooghly, West Bengal. As reported by India Today, the boy met his end on February 16th, 2024, when he accidentally witnessed his mother, Shanta Sharma, in a, quote, compromising position with her secret lesbian partner, Ifat Parveen. Snahanshu became distraught when he saw his mother betraying his father. Little did he realize that his father, Pankaj, already knew about his wife's secret love affair, which had been going on since before they got married, but he had chosen to keep silent about it.
Secret lesbians?
Shanta tried to persuade her son to keep quiet too, but even after talking things over with him, she and Dishrat feared that he might reveal their secret to someone. Although lesbian relationships are legal in India, in certain areas they're considered extremely taboo and socially unacceptable. Terrified of a social backlash,
Hold on, I a little off topic. What the fuck are these kids doing?
extremely taboo
Look at-
and
are they-
socially unacceptable.
What are they doing? They're throwing fucking colored powder?
Terrified of a social backlash that could ruin their lives, both Shanta and Ifat did the unthinkable. Together, they pinned Snahanshu down, stabbed him several times with a vegetable knife so forcefully that the blade bent, and struck him in the head with an iron rod and a stone idol. They did all
What?!
this while the boy's father, Pankaj, was at work, and when the only witness at the home was the family dog, Shadow. However, when Snahanshu's cousin came over and discovered the boy's lifeless body inside the home, investigators were quickly summoned and were able to identify his killers.
Crazy lesbians! How do you, as a mom, kill your own son? What the fuck? Crazy lesbians as a username does go hard, Blue. It does.
Shanta and Nifat's mobile data placed them inside the house with Snahangshu at the time his life came to an end, as did surveillance footage captured by a neighbor. Forensic experts also found traces of Snahangshu's vital fluid on both of their clothes and on the stone idol inside the family home. They were arrested 4 days after the slaying, at which point Shanta confessed to taking her son's life out of fear of social embarrassment and ostracization. Deputy Commissioner Biswas stated to the media, "The relationship between Shanta and Ifat was an old one. They used to talk on the phone for hours past midnight. Based on multiple pieces of evidence, we zeroed in on these two women. Shanta was arrested from her home, and Ifat from hers." Both women are currently being held in police custody, awaiting their trial. Snahangshu's father is calling for his wife and her partner to be hanged.
And this is recent too. That was in February of this year.
On September 20th, 2022.
That looks like Moonshadow. Y'all know my cat Moonshadow? A little bit of a side note there, but what is going to happen to this poor kid?
Emma Brown, age 12, was firing guns with her father, Daniel Brown, at their home in Poolville, Texas. Daniel ran a firearms business, and Emma had grown up around guns and ammo.
Okay.
That afternoon, the pair posed together for a photo before their joint target practice. What Daniel didn't know in that moment was that his daughter had other plans in mind, which she had morbidly hinted at by wearing a Harry Potter t-shirt with the quote, "I solemnly swear that I am up to no good." The 7th grader had secretly been planning a murder pact with an online friend. Both girls had mutually agreed to take out their entire families, including their pets, before running away together. According to chat logs, Emma planned to steal her parents' car, pick up her accomplice, and drive 230 miles to Georgia. Shortly after this image was taken, Emma intentionally fired a shot into her father's abdomen. After incapacitating her father, Emma took off down the driveway and walked about 100 yards down the road. But for whatever reason, she aborted her plan, and, instead of making her way to Georgia, fired a single shot into her own head. Officers later arrived at the scene and found Emma lying in the dirt road. She passed away 2 days later in a...
What kind of... Like, were you born the devil? Like, how does that even happen? Like, what... Like, I'm not trying to get insensitive, but are some people just born fucked up? Like, what? I mean, shit, it seemed like she was having a happy childhood. She was born in the deepest pit of hell, 7th grade. Like, I don't know, maybe their parents were abusive, but I highly doubt it, right? What the fuck? And then she shot herself in the head? Come on, dude. Come on. Like, how do you even... Maybe she was being influenced by that girl, right? Maybe that girl wasn't who she said she was. Maybe she was older than she really was, and she was just, like, fucking around. Like, oh, can I actually convince this girl to kill her fucking family? Lock them both up. Well, lock that other one up. Lock them up.
A local hospital. Her father, Daniel, survived his injuries.
That's good.
Emma's partner in crime, who also happened to be a 7th grader, was picked up by the authorities at her home in Lufkin and was charged with conspiracy to commit murder. Thankfully, she had either backed out of their mutual pact or never intended to go through with the plan in the first place, as her family were unharmed. She was fully prosecuted and sentenced in March 2023. Neither her name nor her sentence have been revealed to the public due to her age, and it's unclear how she and Emma had met, or why they both intended to eliminate their families and run off together.
That shirt is crazy. That is, dude, like, it's good that the dad survived, but imagine... Oh, no. I already know what this is going to be. Imagine surviving that and then having to live with that. Like, my own 7th grade daughter tried to kill me, and then she shot herself. What? Like, I would never be able to sleep again. Also, this is so sad, man. I live, like, not even 20 minutes from where this took place, and this shit is fucked. I've literally walked right by, like they shut it all down and there's like a big memorial with flowers and everything. This is so sad, dude. Ugh.
Icon Park's Orlando Freefall was touted by its operators as the tallest freestanding drop tower in the world. The attraction lifted riders in a gondola 430 feet above the ground, before inclining the seats forward 30 degrees and plunging them into a freefall, breaking 100 feet above the ground. Riders were only meant to experience a 4G thrill, a mild stomach upset, and a few laughs. But on March 24th, 2022, things ended very differently for one park guest. Tyree Sampson was just 14 when he fell to his demise from the Orlando Freefall drop tower. The adolescent, originally from St. Louis, had been on vacation in Florida with his family and a friend. When he and his buddy made it to the front of the line for the drop tower, staff were immediately concerned with the boy's size. The tower's manual specified a weight limit of 287 pounds for the ride. Tyree, who stood at 6'5" and weighed 383 pounds, was too large.
I mean, first of all, if bro wanted to take up football or anything like that, he had a bright-ass future ahead of him. 6'5"? At how old did he say? 14? Oh my gosh, dude. Who in there were the employees on drugs? That's the thing, bro. Every time I get on a drop tower, right? It looks fun at first, and then when you're like about halfway up, it's like, oh my, like, get me off. Have y'all been on a drop tower? It's like, oh, I'm not, this is,
large to fit safely into the seat. As such, the harness sensor in Tyree's seat had to be manually adjusted, loosened, and then tightened again, creating a larger gap than normal between his harness and the seat. The young attendant assisting Tyree had only been working at the park for 3 days, was still technically a trainee, and believed that because the adjustment had made the indicator light turn green, that it was safe to proceed with the ride. Moments before the ride was activated, Tyree could tell that something wasn't right.
Like, brother, there's no way. Look at that. Hold on, let me move the shot really quick. Look at that. There's no way that's gonna hold him, bruh. It's not even, like, is it even locked? I feel like even if it was locked, he could still fucking slip out of that. Oh my gosh, bro.
And reportedly said to his friend beside him, "I don't know, man. If I don't make it down safely, can you please tell my mama and daddy that I love them?" This photo shows Tyree seconds before the gondola began to rise. His shoulder bar was noticeably looser than his fellow riders.
Oh, they shut down the entire tower.
After the ride reached its target height of 430 feet, Tyree began to panic, realizing that he wasn't properly secured. But by that point, it was too late. The ride went into freefall. The brakes applied, and because of the G-force, Tyree was effectively sucked through the gap in his harness and hurtled to the concrete, smashing into the ground head first. He died shortly after impact. Video footage of this incident exists, but for obvious reasons, I don't recommend seeking it out. The visuals, and in particular, the sound, are absolutely soul-crushing.
I've seen it, y'all.
Even worse when viewing it.
It is so messed up. Like, you can see him slip out, and then you hear the crunch. Ugh. It's so bad, bro. It is so bad. That's the thing, bro. Like, if I was up there and I realized, like, oh, it wasn't fitting, what do you even do? Like, I feel like I would, like, try to, like, get my arm underneath and, like clamp my hands together, like, onto the thing and just hold as tight as possible. Ugh. Like, you're probably gonna break your arm, so anything, bro. Hold on for dear life, bro.
It's apparent that nobody immediately helped the boy, and park employees can be heard trying to pass the blame.
Yeah.
A lawsuit filed by Tyree's family
yeah, that's what I
saw. There were no
saw.
visible weight limits or scales at the ride location. After learning the details of what happened, I can't help but wonder, why wasn't he turned away? Said Tyree's mother. He'd been refused on other rides, so why not this one? I understand he's a child. He insisted on riding with his friend, I get that. But as an adult or a ride attendant, that decision should have been made. His feelings might have been hurt, but he would still be here with me.
For real.
His family filed a wrongful death suit against the owners of the amusement park and settled for an undisclosed amount.
I think I heard they got... I don't want to misspeak. I really don't want to misspeak, but I think I heard they got like... This could have been something else, so look it up or whatever. I think I heard they got $400 million. And fuck that. Like, yeah, that's a lot of money, but that's not going to bring your little boy back, bro. Whew.
The ride has since been dismantled.
I think that, yeah, they just got paid, Ethan. Uh-oh.
On July 6th, 2023, 2 students disappeared from India's northeastern state of Manipur. Hijam Linthongam.
Blue said I think it was 6 million. Hold on, you know what? Let me look it up really quick. $310 million. Wow, 155 million to each of the parents. Damn.
A 17-year-old Meiti Hindu had been attending tutorials that morning and was later captured on CCTV riding on a motorbike with her friend, Fijam Hemanjith, age 20. When both youngsters failed to return home,
does not look 20.
Their families reported them missing. For over 2 months, their whereabouts and well-being remained a mystery. Both sets of parents clung on to hope that their children would be found alive and well. That is, until late September, when this photo went viral on social media. The image shows both missing students seated together in an outdoor wooded area. Linthongam wears a mask and looks directly at the camera with a scared expression.
She looks like she
while
needs
Hemanjith's
help,
gaze
dude.
is averted and empty. 2 armed individuals, their captors, can be observed in the background. Members of the rival Kuki Christian community who had forced the 2 students into one of their trucks at gunpoint. In May of 2023, violence had erupted between the Meiti people, who make up the majority of those living in the Yamphal Valley region of Manipur, and the Kukizo tribal community, who called the surrounding hills home. The Kuki people have long complained about feeling marginalized and persecuted by the Métis, who hold more sway with the state government, and tensions came to a boiling point when the Métis demanded official tribal status, which would allow them to buy land and settle in predominantly Kuki areas. To date, approximately 200 people have been killed during the conflict, more than 1,000 injured, 60,000 displaced, and countless women essayed and
The
publicly
cookie
humiliated.
people? That does sound
It's
like
safe
what
to
he's
say
saying.
that atrocities have been committed by both sides. Now, I'm by no means an expert, but from my understanding, the Kukis have a legitimate grievance with how the state government favours Métis people. However, in this case, Kuki militants seem to have taken their frustrations out on 2 innocent young people and decided to make an example out of them. By the time this image had surfaced online, the conflict had become so inflamed that curfews and internet blackouts were ordered. Another blackout was issued after it was posted too,
Internet
leading many to hope
blackouts?
that peaceful negotiations may result in Linthongam and Hemanjith's safe release. But when normal internet services returned on September 25th, a second picture began circulating online. One that showed the bodies of the 2 students lying in a pit. They were wearing the same clothes as seen in this image, and it's believed that they were executed mere moments after it was taken, likely as revenge against the Métis. Hijam Shantikumar, Linthongam's uncle, revealed that these images had broken the poor girl's mother. "She's devastated and faints every few minutes," he stated. She had been anxiously awaiting any news of her daughter's safety, of her return. We had to show her the images to accept that she will never return. Never. The government has utterly failed. There is no governance here. For the past 3 months, they've suspended the internet. Without internet, we'd have never learned about their deaths. During a protest held in Yamphal, thousands of students rallied to demand justice for Linthongam and Hemanjith. At least 45 protesters sustained injuries following clashes with the authorities, who deployed tear gas and fired rubber pellets. "I want to assure the people that both the state and central government are closely collaborating to apprehend the culprits," Chief Minister Singh stated on Twitter. On October 1st, 2023, 4 adults were arrested in connection with the slaying of the students. 2 men, Palminlan Haukip and Smallsom Haukip, and 2 women, Linajong Baitakuki and Tinaling Hentang,
Is her last name Bite a Cookie?
and 2 women, Linajong Baitakuki and Tinaling Hentang. If found guilty, they'll face the death penalty for taking the lives of 2 young, innocent students caught up in the crossfire of a conflict that they didn't start, that they didn't participate in, and that they didn't ask for.
Good. Not... You know what? I'm glad that they're getting the death penalty for that.
Darren Charles Mitchell, 21, was a National Guardsman and father from
21?
Navasota, Texas. May 26, 2016 was a torrentially rainy day in that part of the Lone Star State, and as Darren travelled down Highway 105 just outside of Brenham, his truck became trapped in flash floodwater which washed out the road. He clambered out into the bed of the vehicle and called his brother to let him know the situation, that he was trapped but still alive. But the floodwater continued to rise at an alarming rate. A high percentage of flood-related fatalities come from being hit by debris.
Look at the little baby, y'all.
And so, perhaps fearing being struck or washed away, Darren clambered back into the driver's side seat. Shortly thereafter, at 6:29 PM, he posted this photo to his Facebook page. The caption read, "All I wanted to do was go home." But Darren would never get to go home again. Moments after uploading this photo, his vehicle became fully submerged. One local resident, LaShondo Smith, watched in horror as Darren's truck was swept away by the water. All of a sudden, he got back in his truck, and like maybe 10-15 minutes after that, it just flipped and he topsided into the water. It just disappeared. You didn't see tires, his truck, nothing. The following morning, Darren's body was found downstream in Kirkendall Creek. He was far from the only person who lost their life during that flood. Layla Holland, 64, drowned when floodwaters consumed her home. Jimmy Wayne Schaefer, 49, was swept away in his vehicle. Florida Malima, 23, drowned in her car. And Purali Umatia, 59, was found lifeless in Yegwa Creek.
Whew. We live in a fucking... I mean, this planet, y'all, there is just so much shit. Here we go. Daredevil Jan.
On October 22nd, 1999, 60-year-old Santa Barbara resident Jan Davis attempted a base jump from El Capitan in Yosemite Park. Davis's jump was part of an organized civil act of disobedience, protesting new regulations which made base jumping illegal in Yosemite without a permit. By leaping from El Capitan, the group hoped to prove a simple point: that base jumping was completely safe and that it shouldn't be outlawed. The protest was organized in reaction to the drowning death of fellow jumper Frank Gambale III on June 9th. Frank had successfully parachuted from El Capitan, but drowned in the river below while attempting to escape from rangers, once who were staking out the mountain to catch jumpers breaking the new regulation. Jan was the fourth of 5 jumpers who had gathered at the top of El Cap to attempt the jump. The first 3 successfully executed their jumps and received cheers from the 150 or so onlookers at ground level. These jumpers were subsequently taken into custody by rangers stationed at the bottom of the mountain. But they all anticipated this. Jan herself had even dressed in an inmate's outfit, mocking what she considered a ridiculous regulation. At approximately 1:20 PM, it was her turn to step up to the plate. An experienced jumper who had performed stunts in movies like Waterworld and Congo, Jan showed no signs of fear as she shimmied up to the edge of El Cap. One of her fellow protesters gave her a 10-second countdown, and with the shout of 3, 2, 1, see ya ringing in her ears, Daredevil Jan flung herself over the edge of the 3,200-foot mountain. Initially, all appeared well, but onlookers grew concerned when she didn't deploy her chute at the recommended.
Bro, if I'm watching something like that, it doesn't all appear well until I see that chute come out.
Altitude. "Pull, woman," muttered the cameraman as he watched her falling towards the rocks below at full speed. "Dude, she's got problems, man," he said a few seconds later. Jan fell for over 15 seconds before striking the talus slope at the cliff's base.
Bro said, poor woman. Brother, what? What? I mean, yeah, but also, I feel like I'd be like, oh my... Poor woman. Ugh. That freaked me out for a minute. Oh, pull woman. Sorry. The accent kind of... he said pull woman. Okay, so he was like, oh my gosh. Sorry, that's on me. That's on me. That's on me. The accent threw me off.
She died on impact. Investigators later found out that Jan was jumping with borrowed gear, fearing that the Rangers would confiscate hers upon her arrest. Trouble was, Jan usually pulled...
Y'all have had to correct me so many times this episode. I'm sorry.
...the cord on her back. On the borrowed jumpsuit, the cord was on her leg. This likely led to confusion mid-jump, and unfortunately, spelt her doom. Base jumpers argue that by prohibiting the activity, Rangers are forcing hobbyists to take unnecessary risks, such as jumping in low light and using older gear that they don't mind being confiscated. But Rangers argue that the community's readiness to break their own rules is exactly why base jumping can't be allowed. And, ironically, Jan's protest jump served to highlight their point.
Is that it right there? The ripcord? Imagine falling, like, trying to, like, find the cord. It's on the leg? Did nobody fucking tell her that? Like, straight up. That's the first thing I'd ask when I would put on somebody else's shit. Yeah, where's the, lever for the parachute? Come on, y'all. That's why you can never, whatever you do, whatever activity you do, whatever hobby you do, never get too comfortable. Because that's how you start, like, skipping steps. Oh, I'm just going, oh, wee. That's not how it works, y'all. That's how you die.
Although base jumping is still banned in Yosemite to this day, hang gliding is permitted 1 day a week from Glacier Point. The hang gliding community have always been very compliant with the regulations, said Yosemite spokesperson Scott Gediman, whereas the base jumpers have not.
That's skydiving, I think. Sorry. Ha!
If you enjoyed the video and you'd like to see more, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't
subscribe to Lazy Masquerade. Wow. That ruined my night. It's Beetlejuice skydiving? Alright.